Coming up on Your Money and Your Life, buying your first investment property and getting on the property ladder. Understanding a credit rating and how you can improve it. Teaching kids about shares and getting them into investing. Plus, we help a family whose mortgage and childcare fees are blowing out. G'day and welcome to Your Money and Your Life, the show that's all about saving, spending, investing and enjoying your money. My mission, to make sure you make the very most of your money. First up today, let's take a look at your credit rating. Have you looked at it? If you've ever been really late in paying a bill or defaulted on a loan, then chances are it's on your personal credit rating. Now, when the day comes to apply for finance, like a credit card, a car loan, even mobile phone plan, that mark might see you get knocked back or charged extra interest. To help you better understand your credit rating, I'm joined by Chris Ford, one of the gurus at Compare the Market. Chris, how hard is it to get hold of your credit rating and where do you get it?
Oh, look, it's really quick and easy. There are a number of places you can do it for free. We have one, but there's several out there. And there's a bit of a difference and a bit of a misunderstanding between that credit score and credit report. So credit score, quick and easy, 3 numbers, low end about sort of 300, high end 850, 900. But a bit of a difference, credit score is sort of a snapshot. It's just looking at you in that 3-number score. Credit report, more detailed. That's everything, all of your repayment history in one.
Okay. So does a bad credit rating mean you'll get knocked back for finance?
Look, it can. It really depends on your credit history. If you've missed those repayments like you've mentioned, if you've defaulted on loans, if bankruptcy, if you've appeared before the courts too many times, there are a number of things that can affect it, but it could mean that yes, you are knocked back or otherwise you are charged more than a customer with a good credit.
Okay, so how do you help your credit score?
There are those payday loans, there are afterpay, maybe you've gone big at Christmas time. Can you chew into some of that smaller debt? That could help your credit score and your credit history so that a lender looks upon you more favourably. But there's a few call outs to watch, maybe go back and look at your report, see if any details are incorrect, because if they are, that could be affecting it as well.
So that's important, isn't it? Not just your score, have a look at your report, see if there are any mistakes there, that anyone's put a black mark against your name and is wrong, because they then have to go and repair that, don't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, it may be something from the loan, the credit provider that's wrong. It could also be your personal details. You might not think of it. Maybe we've moved house a couple of times and there's a loan repayment or some credit that's going off to an address that we've just forgot about and it's left unpaid, and that is going to affect your credit score as well.
So pay on time and reduce the number of loans that you've got.
Yes, that's right. If you really want to improve your credit score, but also, no, it's a bit of an interesting one with your credit score. You actually have to have some credit history to have a credit score.
Right, okay. All right, Chris, thanks for that. Great advice. Now to Kochie's Budget Challenge. Every week, with the help of the team at Compare the Market, we're going to help average Aussies find better deals on their biggest bills and save them thousands of dollars and hopefully change their lives. So let's meet Kate and Luke from Canberra. Kate and Luke both juggle full-time jobs with that other full-time job, which is parenting. Large parts of their income are going into their mortgage, plus care for their kids. Let's see if we can help them find some extra money on the table. Luke and Kate, thanks for having us. Tell us how tough it's been the last year, because you've been hit hard coming off the mortgage cliff. You've got daycare as well, preschool, before school care. You've had a lot thrown at you.
Yeah, the mortgage is probably the biggest one. I think, like a lot of people, we did pretty good at the low 2s for a while, and now we're, above 6, so nearly tripled, what we were this time last year.
More money was all of a sudden going to daycare than it was on our mortgage, and for us that was quite challenging because our savings goals are to buy a bigger house for our family, and we can't do that when so much money is going towards daycare.
So have you had to adjust your lifestyle as a result?
Trips and toys are probably the biggest thing. It used to be nice going to Sydney for, book in somewhere overnight and take the kids to Taronga or, just get out of town for a little bit. It's probably been harder on us than the kids, feeling like we're not giving them as much as we used to be able to.
Yeah. And the big goals Your big financial goal?
Definitely to buy a bigger house. That's the long-term goal. The short-term goal, however, is our 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up this year.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
What's the plan?
We were thinking overseas, but that's probably a bit out of our reach.
Probably looking a bit more of a
staycation. A bit more of a staycation at the moment, but that's hopefully what we can put some savings towards.
Okay. We've been through your bills. You've now set us the goal. It is that 10-year anniversary and to go to a bigger house. Yep. Let's see what we can do. Let's have a look.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
After the break, we turn to investing and shares you should be buying for your kids. Welcome back to Your Money and Your Life. Well, it is never too early to start teaching your kids or your grandkids about investing. With time on their side, kids are in a great position to benefit from long-term gains and the magic of compounding. To find out where to start, I've gone to an expert parent and investor, Mark Gardner, Chief Executive of MPC Markets and father of 9 children. Yes, you heard me, 9. Mark, welcome. How are you teaching your kids how to invest?
With great difficulty, first and foremost, because it's not something that they generally take an interest in. And I've tried a couple of times to, get them a little bit interested in investing. And look, compound interest, it's one of those things that you have the benefit of wisdom in hindsight.
But what about interesting them in the share market, of investing in brands that they know but may not know they can actually own a slice of?
Yeah, well, this is about the only success I've really had with this is we just started discussing the places where they shop and make up a blended family. I've got 2 boys, 7 girls in the house. My eldest boy's 14, loves fishing, loves sport. And he was blown away by the fact Super Retail own both of those brands, BCF and Rebel Sports. Even explaining to them that Wesfarmers owns not only Kmart but Bunnings.
The girls, did they know Lovisa was a listed stock?
Well, no, they didn't. However, I've actually been to Lovisa with the boys more than the girls because they're getting to that age where they're buying presents for girlfriends and they're a little bit embarrassed. But the little girls love it. So Super Retail, Bunnings, Lovisa. One other stock that get your kids interested in the share market. Every kid loves Smiggle. They love Peter Alexander. So Premier Investments is a great one.
But each of these stocks not only are interesting to your kids, but are they good investments?
I think on a long-term basis for them, with they're best-in-class businesses. Let's face it. So you're not going to go too far wrong. They're not necessarily going to care, but you can use things like the Raise Kids app's really good because at least I think having trained up a lot of young traders over the years is unless there's money in the game, people will just you won't go back and check over it, but. If you've got an app on your phone, you've got access to it, you're a higher chance that they're going to engage with it and make decisions. They'll see their dividends come in because a 3% dividend or an 8% dividend doesn't mean anything unless you see that money drop into your account.
Exactly.
You'll probably get 5 to 6 years and not let them dip into it, and they will see compound interest in practice.
And a nest egg in it. So use the Raise app.
You don't need much. But I think getting them started and getting them some skin in the game will make them much more interested than if you have a conversation and then circle back once a year.
Yep, great advice. All right, Mark Gardner, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And if you're interested in share investing, I host a daily show, The Call, on the Ausbid streaming network, where I put 10 stocks to an expert panel for their views on whether to buy, hold or sell, and Mark is a regular panellist. It's shocking. Sky-high power prices have some Aussie households switching off. Electricity prices were up more than 14% last year, and that's despite bill relief, rebates and wholesale prices down around 50% in many parts of the country. So what on earth is going on? Well, wholesale prices, which have been improving, only account for about 1/3 of what makes up your energy bill. On top of that, there are network costs, retailer costs and environmental costs. It's that 70% that's become a problem. But that doesn't mean there aren't still ways to save. Hundreds of thousands of households are on so-called standing offers, which means they're paying more than they need to. Shopping around for a competitive deal could save you big in the long run. Compare the Market ran an electricity quote for a home in Melbourne and found offers for up to 25% off the reference price. So next time bill shock hits, don't switch off, switch over. After the break, we find out how you can get on the property ladder. Welcome back to Your Money and Your Life. Now, property prices have defied expectations in this interest rate cycle, continuing to rise thanks to a lack of housing supply. Many people feel priced out of the housing market as mortgage repayments soar and banks tighten lending criteria and increase deposit requirements. To find out how you can get on the property ladder, I'm joined by property expert Chris Gray, Chief Executive of Your Empire Buyers Agents. Chris, how can first-time buyers get into the market at this stage of the cycle?
Well, the main thing is they've got to set that goal because it's not going to change in hundreds of years. So you've got to get in the market. So the first thing is really go to your mortgage broker or a comparison website to try and find out how much you can borrow. And rather than try and find the cheapest interest rate, I'm trying to go for the maximum borrowing capacity.
What sort of properties should you be focusing on?
So the thing that's going to drive property prices around the world is a lack of supply and lots of demand. So basic schoolboy economics. And so effectively you avoid the CBD because there's lots of tall towers and not many Aussies want to live in a tall tower. So if ideally you go to that 3 to 15 k's from the CBDs of most major capital cities, it's where the cafes, the restaurants, the beaches, all of the leisure facilities, and that's where all the workers that work in the city want to live. And so that's the thing that pushes supply up. So ideally those suburbs have got 3-storey height limits, no more supply of property, and they've got high income earners and maybe people with wealthy parents that are maybe helping the kids as well.
Right, okay. So give us some strategies to actually get your first property. Explain, for example, rent vesting. Is that an option?
So rent vesting is a very, very new concept these days. And what it really means is quite often for people that are maybe going for their second or third property. So say you had, call it $1 million property, and you were going to upgrade to a $2 million property. The thought process is rather than do that, buy a second investment property, so you've got two $1 million ones, you collect the rent on those, which would be about $800 each, so about $1,600, and you could probably rent a $3 or $4 million property for the same price. And the thought process is you buy lots of little ones, like Monopoly, and they rent for a lot of money because there's lots of demand, so 3 or 4%, and then the super expensive ones only rent for 1, 2 or 3%.
Ah.
And so the benefit, some people would argue, oh, you might get moved on, which is true, and it's not capital gains free, which is true. But my mum still lives in the home from 50 years ago. She's never had the capital gains benefit. Whereas if you have investment properties, the difference between the rent and the mortgage, you're getting maybe a third back in tax, and you're getting it every single day on both those properties.
Okay, so rent vesting isn't a short-term fix to your issue. It can be a long-term property strategy.
It's a bit of a bonus, but the main thing is for first home buyers, you just need to get in the market. And you need to buy as much property as you can, because if you've got 2 properties doubling, it's better than 1 property doubling. So the parents' generation is more, you spend 25 years paying off a home. This generation is maybe buy 2 properties, they double in maybe 10, 12, 15 years, and then you can always sell one to pay off the loan of the other one.
Right. Is it easy to get finance with that strategy?
It should be easier than buying your own home because you've got rental income coming in and you've got tax deductions as well. So again, you might be able to borrow maybe 500 grand as an owner-occupier, but maybe 600 grand as an investment. And so again, for first home buyers, if you can stay at home, stay with your parents and kind of
pay board,
scrange off them and maybe pay a bit of board, but a bit of board is cheaper. It's all about short-term sacrifice to then have a long-term gain.
Absolutely. That has got us all thinking, Chris Gray. Thanks so much for
having me.
For coming in and explaining it to us. Really appreciate it.
What if your home loan could clean up the oceans? I'm here to tell you it's possible. My name's Catherine Mapsua and I'm the Head of Lending at Wealth. We're an impact lender, which means we prioritise purpose over profit. So what is impact lending? It's a trend from the US where people like you and me make a conscious choice to take out loans from financial partners who want to make a positive impact on the world. At Wealth, we do this by collaborating with Parlay for the Oceans. For every loan settled, Wealth contributes to the cleanup of 50 square metres of Australian beach and coastlines, addressing the urgent issue of marine plastic pollution. What's that got to do with home loans? To put it bluntly, with no planet, we have no home. Choosing a home loan and the right lender is such a major decision. Not only do we give you highly competitive rates, we do it so you can help build a world you and your family want to live in. So next time you're speaking to your broker or doing some home loan research, consider impact lending. Head to WLTH.com for more.
After the break, Kochie's Budget Challenge. We visit Kate and Luke to see if we can ease their mortgage stress and improve their family budget. Let's return to Kate and Luke. We've looked at their bills with the team at Compare the Market to see if we can find better deals, and we sure did. Take a look. All right, Kate and Luke, you've set the goalposts. It is a 10th anniversary celebration like never before.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can help out with it. These are just thought starters. First of all, the big expense coming off the mortgage cliff. You had to refinance. There's always doubt in the back of your mind. You've got a really good rate. So well done. That's terrific. Your other big expense is health insurance.
Very big.
Gold cover, $6,000 a year. That's a lot. But hey, if you downgrade to a Silver Plus policy, next level down, good level of extra cover as well for dental and optical, you'll reduce your premium by almost a bit over $2,100 a year.
Oh my gosh.
What did you sign us up to in the first place?
It was a big cover.
Yeah, that's huge.
But you've also said that you're happy to do without heart health cover and also orthodontic. So maybe look at a bronze option, and that almost cuts your premium in half and reduces it by $2,800.
Wow.
It's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Remember, you've got to go through all of this yourself in detail and understand if you do downgrade the cover, some of the waiting periods, you may need to start again if you decide to increase the cover sometime in the future. All right, let's have a look at the car insurance. Your car insurance intrigues me because your premium's gone up 27%. Also, you've got an agreed value for the car. That always costs you a little more rather than simply agreeing to market value. But the agreed value's already dropped $5,000 in the last year. So it doesn't stay the same every year.
Ah.
Wow.
Your current policy has an excess of $850. If you bump that up by $150 to $1,000 and make a few of those tweaks with the valuation, you could reduce your premium by up to $200.
That's great.
Now, your energy plan as well, on every statement has a little panel that the energy regulator makes every energy retailer put in that says, we've looked at your usage and there are savings elsewhere under our plans, existing plans for the energy retailer. And here it says that you can save up to $365 off your energy bill by the same retailer.
You scroll right down, we just want to see how much we have to pay each quarter, and that's it.
So $365 less for electricity, $144 less for gas. So that's around $500 just by staying with the same retailer and switching plans, which they've recommended. So I'd get on the phone right now.
That would have been good to know 9 years ago.
That's right, when we bought their house.
And the team at Compare the Market have seen offers that are 32% less than the reference price of energy retailers.
Wow.
That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer.
So when you add all of that up, really big savings on your health insurance, car, reasonable savings as well, along with energy and home and contents, I reckon you could claw back around $3,600 a year just off those big bills.
It's a holiday.
There's a holiday.
There's a 10th anniversary to look forward to, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wow. That's incredible.
Pays to look.
It does pay to look. And as my parents say, if you don't ask, they can't tell.
Well, you'd like to
So-
think if you're stuck with someone for 10 years, they'd look after you, but...
Well, that's right.
Luke, that is the big problem. There's
Well, I've stuck with you for 10 years.
And you've looked after me,
And
thank
I've
you.
have a great anniversary.
Thank you.
Well, that's it from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Money and Your Life. For all the latest money and investment news that you need to know, go to ymyl.com.au. And while you're there, subscribe to my free email newsletter, which is delivered to your inbox every Friday. See you next time. Next week on Your Money and Your Life, getting across your insurance and protecting your family if the unthinkable happens. Stocks to buy when the share market crashes, and how the bank of mum and dad is helping a generation get into the property market.